let's go to the next day. Take a look at the Asian manipulation. So the Asian range starts. We take a look, start taking a look at higher time frames, I would say. Start taking a look at higher time frames, and we can see that we are in a really strong bullish trend. However, what I like to do is trade above the highs or below the lows. So we have, this is the bullish move that breaks the previous structure, breaks this structure. I take this low as our strong low, and we have confluence that there is Asian range right here. So I'm looking for buys below Asian range from either this demand below the Asian range or a lower demand on lower timeframes, or I can look for sells against the trend, even though it is more risky, but above this high. Here we have our other area. Perfect. After we go above this high, and as I said, we didn't look for sells until we break the previous high, is because since we are in an uptrend, we can only go for sells if we took external range liquidity. This is the external range liquidity. We grabbed it, and right after, usually the price goes for the internal range. So if you take this confirmation, just because on the 1 minute, you see there is no data available. Can't believe it. TradingView needs to do something for this. I even have the pro version. I don't know how to. And if anyone that is watching this video has a recommendation about possible good trading software to backtest and go on any time frame, then it is welcome to comment and tell me, because it is impossible on TradingView. So perfect. So we break to the upside, we go for internal range liquidity. You don't take this confirmation, because when you are in an uptrend, you can only go for sells if and only if you grab the external range liquidity. So keep in mind, you are in an uptrend and you have a low and a high. The price was right here. Let's go back for a second. Price was right here, and you're looking for sells. But if you're looking for sells at this area, and we are in a strong uptrend that just broke the previous high right here, that just broke the previous high, if you don't go for internal range liquidity first, you cannot look for sells right here. You need to go for the external, and then you can look for sells. You can look for sells that are short-term sells until actually we change the trend. So as I said already, we went above the external range. We broke to the downside. I will look for sells. I will start looking for sells and start looking for confirmations from this supply or higher supply. As we saw already, we come back. We don't give any type of slowdown in momentum. We arrive here. We haven't touched the area yet. We continue to the upside with strong candles. Unfortunately, again, we don't have access to the 1 minute, because it will be very interesting to see what happens in the 1 minute. We break to the upside, and we look again for confirmation. You would trade this?
Yes. I trade like that.
Yeah, but so Stefano, usually what he's doing, and I incorporated that in my strategy, is that he looks at engulfing candles with good volumes. Now, of course, this is not all of it. This is not the whole confirmation. There are other factors. But one thing that I use together with this is, of course, it is a good strategy. It is a good type of entry. But what I do is that, okay, there is a 3 minutes big candle big bearish candle with good volumes. But if in the 1 minute at the same time we change structure, so in the 3 minutes it looks like an engulfing candle. In the 1 minute I go down to the 1 minute, and inside of this 3 minutes candle there is a confirmation. Then this for me is one of the best confirmations, and I want to continue to the downside. Again, unfortunately, we don't have access to the 1 minute to check if this actually happened, but that could be the case. I don't know how to actually check for it. We just can't. Perfect. Ooh, possibly news. It was a Friday, so NFP probably. Yeah, first Friday of December, so NFP. Crazy move. Let's go to the next day, Monday. So Monday, and taking a look at higher time frames, we are again in a bullish trend. We broke the previous high right here. Now we have a low and a high that was created, and we are in a bullish trend. We need to go for the liquidity. The Asian range liquidity is the first type of liquidity that we're looking for. We can add some other liquidity. For example, here you see the trend line that we were talking about. There is the first touch, the second touch, and at the third touch we break. What are a lot of people doing right now? A lot of people are looking for sells. We do the opposite. Unfortunately, we don't have access to the 1 minute, but we can see it on the 3 minutes. If we go to the 1 minute, the setup would be perfect, and we have break to the downside, break to the upside, retest of the area. Maybe again on the 1 minute here there will be another confirmation. Actually there is. We break to the upside again, we come back and retest with this candle. And keep in mind that inside of a 3 minute candle there are 3 1 minute candles, so everything will be a lot more clear in the 1 minute, but unfortunately we don't have it, and that's very unfortunate. But finally, at least we can clearly see it here. Break to the downside, break to the upside, trade. So by this time, let's say we don't enter perfectly here, we enter a little bit higher, maybe we enter here, whatever. By this time, we will be already risk-free. Let's say that we are targeting this higher supply. We will go for the high because the trend is bullish. We target this supply, we target this internal liquidity, we target all the people that are entering at this trend line. We just continue to the downside. Again, at this time, we are risk-free. Bullish day continues. And again, we just had to go for more internal liquidity in order to continue to the upside. There is a low, there is a high, there is liquidity, both Asian liquidity, both trendline liquidity. We break it, we continue to the upside. Right here, great confirmation. Unfortunately, doesn't reach take profit, which should be at least 1 to 3. Right here, goes very close to it. As I said already in many videos, I don't close the trade if it doesn't reach 1 to 3. Of course, we are risk-free by this time. We are missing, this is 2.8, I believe, 2.7 restored ratio. We are, of course, risk-free. We hit our entry. Anyway, our bias for the day was correct. We had our low, our high. We manipulated Asian range and trend line. We continued to the upside and broke the high. Now, again, we don't have access to the 1 minute, but in the 3 minutes, if I go back and look at this confirmation, I didn't really see an opportunity to get in. I would like to see the 1 minute because maybe, just maybe, there is a break here to downside and a break. Well, of course there is, but I would like to see how good it looks. Then there is a break to the upside, and of course there is a possibility to get involved here. But if I don't see how it looks in the 1 minute, because I don't trade V confirmations and I need to see that this is a good confirmation, of course, if this would look like a good confirmation in 1 minute, then I will take the trade and this would be a very good trade. Do we try to see? Which day is it? 5 December? Too early?
I don't know.
Yeah?
I think so.
We try.
Let's try.
Yeah, nice.
Nice.
So this is not a bad confirmation at all, also considering that there is a big volume on the candle down. And on the candle down, I studied this a lot of years ago. When a trend needs to finish, we have a big candle with a big volume. If you check stock charts, also on the weekly time frame, you will see that a downtrend usually finishes when we have a big volume with a big candle to the downside. Now, this is not the best type of confirmation, but if I didn't take any other loss yet for the day, this will look actually nice. Which time of the day? 10:30. Yeah, no, time of the day, I wouldn't take the trade. Now that I saw the time of the day, yeah, I wouldn't get involved in this trade. But anyway, the analysis is there. You have your possible entry. Both confirmations, this was a really good confirmation. If you got a nice entry, I put the worst type of entry that you could have had. But of course, if the entry was better, you were going to have a 1 to 4. I just put a bad entry because sometimes it happens that you don't have the perfect entry. Let's continue to the next day. Do you have any comments?
Honestly, no.
We break the high. We go for the internal liquidity. Well, anyway. Now we can also go on the 1 minute, which is good. Asian range liquidity. Again, here I see some double bottoms. I wouldn't take any of these trades and I just go on with the next day. For education purposes, I wouldn't take any of this trade. I don't like the confirmation. I see too much of liquidity right here, even though we barely went below it, but still. And I wouldn't take this trade. Anyway, for educational purposes only, we go on the 1 minute and we check what happens here. So here for me, there is nothing because trend was still bearish. Here we break to the upside, come back. And at this point right here, there is a possibility to get involved in this bullish candle, but also volumes are not matching for me. So I will not get involved at all. Also, if you haven't watched the webinar about volumes, I recommend you to take a look at it. Oh, wait. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to talk about. We go above the Asian range and we reach the supply. This is a great setup, one of the best setups you can trade. This all depends on the type of confirmation that we have, because of course, if this is not a good confirmation, again, I wouldn't take the trade, but this looks like a great confirmation with break to the upside, break to the downside, retest of the area. Now, personally, I would mark out this area, the higher area, and also this area, and then I would take a look at it. We come back, and the whole point is what we do with the volumes right here. We come back, huge push to the upside, and then at this point, we have this push to the downside. This push to the downside is too many candles. I don't know how you would look at it, but on the 3 minutes, it looks better. on 3 minutes, it doesn't look so bad. I mean, you have this confirmation. The whole point is that most of the times I just take the trade this way without even looking at confirmations. The first candle that you have as confirmation, I would consider the trade or just enter with a pending order. But anyway, this is good confirmation. This is not weak confirmation. You have a clear pattern. You have as your target at least this demand area. But if you go according to the trend, you have supply, Asian range manipulation, possible continuation to the downside. Kind of big of pattern for what we look for, but yeah. I'm not keeping track of any of it. Later I will go back to the charts. All right, now let's mark the possible areas that we have for the day. We have this lower area. We have this supply, which was the supply that flipped this demand, and we have the higher possible supply. See what happens after this. Only 1 minute. Oh man. Anyway, let's continue. So we would have considered, according to our strategy with fake change of Carter and change of Carter, here we have a fake change of Carter. Right after we get this break, there is no body closure, but I usually don't look at that. We need to backtest it, and we would have considered this area. Now we are on the 1 minute. There is no reaction on this area. We just continue with straight candles to the downside. So we avoid this entry. Now let's take a look at what happens next. We have either two options that we respect the supply and we look for an entry with an engulfing candles, or this is the manipulation of the range, which will be my favorite scenario. This becomes our range. This is the manipulation. We have a break to the upside and we get an entry. All right. Doesn't reach my area, or does it? No. All right. The analysis was correct. We had our manipulation of the range, our confirmation, our retest. My area doesn't get tapped in. If we don't look at the area and we want to trade from the other area, I'm trading like I would trade on real market. So I will trade from this area and I will look at what happens. Now, of course, if we take a closer look and we take also in consideration this area, but we cannot go with ifs. But anyway, we have this type of confirmation right here. Also here, once we come back at this demand, we have an pin bar with an engulfing candle with not really nice volumes, but the candle right after, yeah. We break again to the upside, we retest. Also here we have another confirmation. Would you take the first one or the second one?
The second one.
This one?
Definitely, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, the volumes, for example.
Down candle, confirmation candle, volume is above the moving average. This could be our entry. We also retest the candle. I don't have the poke, but anyway, that would be a nice confirmation. Anyway, this is the confirmation. We can enter right away without taking a look at the retest, and this is already our trade. If we want to go safe with it, it is below the area. If we don't go safe with it and we just trade the confirmation, trade the candle, this is the other option. We target the supply. but we are already happy with 1 to 3. So worst case scenario, if you are not patient enough to look at the 1 minute confirmation, which is, this is the type of confirmation, or this is the type of confirmation that we want to see. If you're not patient enough and you're taking the buys from here, since you see the fake change of character followed by the good change of character, and you look for this confirmation, and you're not patient enough to look for the 1 minute engulfing candle with good volumes, and you hit the stop loss, then you have a way to make it back with the second trade. So as we said already, types of manipulations. Asian range manipulation happens. After that, range manipulation happens. We break to the upside. This is our final confirmation. We retest. I was looking at the lower area, but if we take a closer look at 1 minute with confirmations, here again, we have break to the downside, break to the upside. And now it all comes down to the candles. It all comes down to the candles and volumes. Here already, this is not so bad of confirmations, but the best one is the second one. And we make back the first loss if you were not patient enough to look for candle confirmations, which is, of course, the best option to always take a look at.